Thank you for leaving the house. Thank you for being here. This is awesome. Are you excited to be here? All right. Me too.
Happy birthday.
All right, thank you very much. It's true. I turned 36 last night, which is, yeah. It's, if you do the math, it's about a quarter of Joe Biden's age. So I'm getting up there, you know? But I'm happy, everything works, so it's pretty good. For those of you who don't know me, I go by TJ, because I have a very difficult immigrant name to pronounce. I have one of those names that makes people nervous. And I mean white people. Especially liberal white people, because someone told them that it's racist if you mess up a black person's name, which it isn't. But since they believe it, I let them struggle. It's a lot of fun for me. It's so funny to take advantage of white guilt. They'll see my name, they'll be like, can you pronounce it for me so I can make sure I get it right? And I'm like, nah, you got it. Just give it a shot, you know? See what you come up with, Catherine. I believe in you. You've been doing the work, reading your Ta-Nehisi codes. Come on. Let's see what you got. So I use my initials, TJ, just to make it easy for people, but my real name is Thomas Jefferson, so I use that just to, you know, trying to help people out. I don't look like a Thomas Jefferson, I don't. Maybe one of his kids, but not him, you know what I mean? This joke is how I find out who went to college in the audience. This is a good crowd, all right, you guys can hang. I'm very into people's names, because the name has a story, you know, it's this thing you gotta carry out through your whole life, and then it's given to you by somebody else, so it's supposed to match you. But sometimes the person that gives it to you messes up, and it doesn't match. You ever meet old people with young names? Isn't that the weirdest? Recently, I met this old guy, really old, 97 years old, almost dead at this point. And this 97-year-old guy, you know what his name was? Kevin. Can't be Kevin at 97. Kevin is a dumb young guy. That's who Kevin is. There's no Grandpa Kevin. Nobody's gonna sit by a fire listening to the wisdom of Kevin. Kevin doesn't know shit. It's like, you should smoke some. Shut up, Kevin. Why don't you live a little, you know? Kevin sucks. He's trying to be a DJ. He owns a hoverboard. He wears a t-shirt with a picture of a cat that says crushing pussy. That's the kind of guy Kevin is. You can't trust Kevin. That's also true for women. I've never met an adorable little girl named Gladys. I've never seen that. Because Gladys is a grown woman who's been doing some grown woman stuff. That's who Gladys is. Gladys is a widow because she murdered her second husband. That's Gladys. She's got some dark history in her life. She wasn't allowed to vote at some point, you know? Gladys isn't friends with Courtney and Ashley. Those are 90s babies. You know who Gladys is friends with? Gertrude and Eunice. Those are Gladys's friends. She doesn't know Halle Berry. She knows Harriet Tubman. Those are the people in her life. I'm an immigrant here. English is my third language. I speak Haitian Creole because I'm Haitian. I speak French because of a foreign exchange program called slavery. Just laugh at the goddamn joke. Like, what? What are you doing? Who are you doing this for? What, you got slaves at home right now that are you trying to be sensitive about their feelings? I said it because I think it's funny, okay? I don't want you to feel bad for me. This is not a black person thing. That's not what that is. That's just the way the world happens, you know? People take over other people's cultures and they make you speak their languages. It's happened to all of us. Here's what I've realized. If your language and your nationality are the same, you did not suffer too much. If your language is different from your nationality, yeah, it's not good. You got fucked at some point in your history by somebody. I'll prove it to you. The Koreans speak Korean. The Japanese speak Japanese. Mexicans do not speak Mexican. What the fuck happened there? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It turns out Spain had one of the largest foreign exchange programs of all time. They were just giving Spanish to everybody. Like it was a sexually transmitted disease, you know? Everyone in South America woke up with a bad case of the Spanish, and there is no cure. And it's not just Spanish. Here you guys are in America. I imagine most of you are Americans. No one here speaks American, unless you're a hillbilly. But the rest of us have to speak English. The King's English. The entire world at this point speaks English because England was the Bill Cosby of colonizers. They put us all to sleep and sprinkle something in our drinks. And we all woke up like, hello? How are you? What a lovely evening. I'm fascinated by language as a concept because it's noise that you make out of your mouth. But we get excited because we agree on what it means, you know? You go butthole. And people go, yeah, I know what that means. Like your language has meaning to you, but everybody else's language is just noise. And sometimes I wonder if animals have languages. And if they do, are they also racist about it? Because we're pretty racist about ours, and they're just like us, so I don't see why they wouldn't, you know? Let's say an American horse goes to China. And there's a Chinese horse who's very excited to see him. And he's like, hey, man, welcome to China. I've never seen anyone that looks like you. What's your name? Do you think in the American horse's head, all it can hear is ching, chong, ping, chong, chong, China? That's a pretty racist horse, you know? That's not me. I'm just saying that horse is very racist, you know? He spent his whole life in Kentucky. He never left. So he just thanks all Asian people. Something like that. That one is for the kids, you know? So tell your children the racist horse joke. I speak French. A lot of Americans are impressed by that, but it's such a pretentious and wasteful language, you know? They're just wasting letters all over the place. They like to overcomplicate things that don't need to be complicated. You'll see 17 letters and all it says is P. That's how annoying the French are. They're almost too cool to speak the language, you know? Just say something. When an American gets angry, they let you know, they go, fuck you. When a French person is angry at you, they go, va te faire foutre. You're like, that sounds lovely. Are you happy to see me? I'm getting mixed messages here. I got to watch a fight outside of a club in Paris, and this guy said to another guy, je vais enculer ta grand-mère. Which sounds nice if you don't speak French. But really, the guy said to the other guy, I'm gonna fuck your grandmother. It's like, holy shit, what kind of a psychotic French threat is that? Who brings somebody's grandma into a street fight? And if you're saying that to a stranger, that is not your first time saying that. That's just what you into, you know? That's your fetish. Just out there camping by nursing homes. Just looking for sexy geriatrics. It was confusing to me because the part of it I did not get is the fact that it's an insult, you know? How is that supposed to hurt my feelings? Listen, if you tell me you're gonna fuck my grandma, you are doing me a favor, man. My grandma's very old. She has not been fucked in 37 years. Please do me a solid and go to town on my grandma. She deserves it. She's worked very hard, that lady. Eat my grandma's dusty asshole. Whatever you need to do, I support your endeavor. If anything, I don't think you're man enough to fuck my grandma. She's lived a hard life. She will ruin you and your tiny French penis, is what I'm saying. I've been in this country for a while. I have a pretty extensive immigration history here. I came here from Haiti on a student visa, and I had to get a bunch of work visas, and then I had to go for the big one, the green card. It's a very long process. It's expensive, and you feel with anxiety the entire. I do not recommend it. Don't do it. You know. There's a couple of ways you could get a green card in this country. One is you could apply for this O1 visa, and it's called. And I'm not kidding. It's called Alien of Extraordinary Ability. It's a superhero visa, apparently. Who came up with such a terrifying name for a visa? Is there anything scarier to the middle of America than Alien of Extraordinary Ability? First of all, alien. Why do you have to be so dramatic about it? Just call me a foreigner. I'm from a foreign country. I'm Haitian. That's 72 minutes from Miami. How am I a fucking alien? How? So what you're trying to say is me, a Chinese guy, and Thanos are the exact same thing? What are we doing here? Alien of extraordinary. They don't even tell you what extraordinary ability means. I had to look it up. And really all it is if you're highly skilled in a very specific field that has some value to the US government. So let's say you were a genius physicist from a brown country and you know how to build bombs. Get in there, America needs you, all right? You automatically qualified, Brown Oppenheimer. Come on. Because it's a double whammy. You know, on one hand, you get to bring some much needed diversity to the world of bomb making. And then America gets to feel less guilty when they use it to bomb your country. So everybody's happy. It's a good exchange. Quid pro quo right there, you know? But how does the government decide what is an extraordinary ability? That seems very arbitrary. All kinds of people have all kinds of abilities. And it's useful to somebody. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you're a guy from Haiti, and every woman you've slept with, you've made them come. Does that count as an extraordinary ability? I'd like to think it's in the interest of the American government that American women be coming. But I'll tell you what, it's very hard to prove that to immigration without video evidence. You know, you're gonna have to start recording yourself. Don't worry about this tripod, baby. I'm collecting data for the US government. This is classified stuff. It's a very different kind of OnlyFans. Also, for the record, I have no idea if the women I slept with, if they came or not. I don't know. But it felt like they did to me. And that's what's important. You know, that's my emotional truth, and I'm sticking to it. So that's one way you can get it. Be an alien of extraordinary ability a la Albert Einstein. The other way is this. You could just marry an American woman. There's a massive drop in skill levels between those two options. You don't even need a skill for the second one. All you have to do really is pretend you love someone. That's not that hard to do. I mean, our parents have done that most of their lives. What a crazy system you guys have. On one hand, I have to be so skilled, I could literally be from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. On the other hand, I could just marry Crystal. Who the hell is Crystal? Does she have any powers? Nope, she may not even know how to read. Her only power is she was born in Canarsie. That's all she's got going for her. Really, what that system told me is that the American government thinks very highly of themselves. Because the way to look at it is to come here to the greatest country on earth, you have to either be one of the greatest citizens your country has ever produced, or you could legally be fucking one of our idiots. Those are your options. You know? The government is like, we think this woman sucks, but if you help us with her, if you take her off our hands, we will give you a green card. Welcome to America. So I went and spoke to a lawyer to find out what my options were. And I said, could I go for the O1? And she goes, okay, what is your ability? I said, I do stand-up comedy. And she goes, not a great start. No one has any respect for this. And she goes, have you done it in any notable places? So I sent her a list of places where I perform. And she looked at my list and she said, the government does not recognize any of those basements. That will not do. Just killing my dreams. But I didn't want to get discouraged, so I went and spoke to a second one just to get a different opinion. And this time, I put it out there. I said, could I go for the O1 as a stand-up comedian? And she goes, well, it's not impossible. Has been done before. And she says, John Oliver got a similar visa. Are you in the same category as John Oliver? And I was like, fuck you, lady. What are we doing here? Roasting each other's careers? You piece of shit immigration lawyer. If you're a better lawyer, you'd be a corporate one making way more money. But here you are in the trenches taking advantage of immigrants. Maybe if you were a better lawyer, you'd have HBO so you'd know I'm not on that stuff, huh? Basically, those two lawyers went a long way to tell me I was not famous enough to get the O1. I was very sad about it. But it doesn't matter. When you're an immigrant, what you learn very quickly is you do not have the luxury of self-pity. Doesn't matter what happens. You keep your head down and you go to work. So that's what I did. I kept my head down, I worked my ass off, and today I'm happy to tell you that my wife's name is Crystal. I've been teaching her how to read. She's an idiot. It's a lot of work, so just doing my part to help America, you know? Immigration is very expensive, man. It's a lot of money. I'm still recouping from that stuff. You know, I'm just trying to get my money right. Money is, like I grew up very poor as a kid, but when you're a kid, you don't know that you're poor because money doesn't mean much to you. But there's like signs, if you pay attention, little signs of poverty, you know? My grandmother used to put her money in her titties. That's a sign of poverty. I don't think Grandma Rockefeller was doing that shit. There's not enough room in there for college trust funds and 401ks and treasury bonds. You need 12 pair of titties for that stuff, you know? Money is weird because it's this thing that controls the entire world, but it's not real. It's only real because we agree on it, we give it value. It's in our minds, but it's just a piece of paper. And when something is not real, people can get way too much of it, and that hurts the people who don't have enough of it. You know what I realized, basically? If you were a billionaire, you're kind of a cunt. You are. It's not even your fault. You have an unnatural amount of money. You have no choice but to be a cunt. It's way too much. I sat down and did math for this bit, just so I could explain to you guys how much money you really have when you're a billionaire. Here's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. If you're a millionaire and you spend $1,000 a day, it will take you 2 years and 7 months to go broke. If you're a billionaire and you spend $1,000 a day, it will take you 2,700 years before you go broke. Holy shit, why is that even legal? Do you guys realize how much money that is? That means if Moses, the one from the Bible, if Moses had $2 billion and was alive today, he would still have money to spend. Not because he's a Jew, just because that's an insane amount of money for anybody to have. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, his net worth offends me personally every day. It's too much money, you know? He earned it, sure, it's legal, fine, but it feels wrong, you know? Sometimes things are legal, but they feel wrong. Like it's legal to keep watching porn after you already come. But it feels wrong, you know? It feels like you're hurting somebody somewhere. That's how I feel about Jeff Bezos' money. It's disgusting. At one point, he was worth $200 billion. Sometimes entire countries do not have that kind of money. That's one bald motherfucker, $200 billion. Just to put that in perspective for you. If I give 20 random people here $20, that's the end of my night. have to go home and regroup for tomorrow. Jeff Bezos had enough money to give everybody alive, which is about 8 billion people. He could give every single person on the planet $20 and still have $40 billion left, which is 20 times what Moses had in the previous part of that joke. You realize how insane that is? I don't know what to do about it. So here's what I do. You can do it too if you want. Once in a while, I go on Amazon and I buy a bunch of stuff. And when it gets to my house, I tell customer service it never made it. And they give me my money back. That's how I fight the system. One purchase at a time. So if you want to meet me after the show, I got a bunch of fire sticks. That's my merch, you know? It's gotta go somewhere. You know, I'm happy to be going through all of this right now, immigration and the like, but I'll be honest with you, sometimes it feels like I came to America too late. You know what I mean? It feels like I came at the end of a great thing. That's the feeling. It's almost over, you guys. You had a good run. You had a great Hall of Fame run, for sure. But you know, nothing lasts forever. Every empire's gotta fall at some point. I should have come here in the 90s. I think that's when it was a good time to come to America. Coming to America now is sort of like if you get into Kanye West right now. You're like, oh, fuck. The stock is plummeting. I just wanted music, but he hates Jews now. I don't know what to do with that. Kanye's a classic case of a crazy person. All the signs were there, but we ignored them because we liked the music, you know? All the signs. Here's what happened to him in the past couple years. He became a billionaire on paper. He was married to a very desirable woman. He had 4 beautiful children, and then he became a Christian. And that's when I knew he was mentally unwell. You know why? Because no one finds Jesus when life is going great. That's not how Jesus works. Jesus is a break-in case of an emergency. Last-minute resort. When you've tried everything on earth and nothing can help you, you need some invisible power to deal with your very visible problems. You don't find Jesus in your 40s, you fucked up. So Kanye fucked up. I hope Jesus helped him. By the way, before I even get further into this, sometimes I don't understand why black people love Jesus so much. I really don't. Because there hasn't been any good return on that investment. But, like when white people love Jesus, I get it, you know, you're in the lead. Keep going, don't change anything. But for us, it's like, why are we holding on to this, you know? How long does your team have to struggle before you change the coach? How many seasons under 500 before you get a new voice in here, you know? Let's get Buddha on this team and see what happens. Buddha's my #1 draft pick for black people, but we keep re-signing Jesus, so I don't think it's gonna happen. I got my Jesus very early. I was 5 and my mom would just read the Bible, do Bible study for us every morning, just downloading all the Jesus stuff in our heads, you know? And when you're 5, that's the perfect time to get Jesus, because you're kind of an idiot. So it all sounds amazing, you know? It was like, this guy did what? He walked on water and he made bread and fish out of nothing? Fuck yeah, I love this guy. Should be an Avenger or something, you know? So she gave us all that Jesus, and then when we became teenagers, she would try to keep us away from sex, so she would use religion. She would go, do not have sex because God is watching. I was like, ew. What a creepy and horrifying thing to say to children. It's terrible, because that can only do one of two things to you. It can make you terrified of sex for the rest of your life. Or you can try to get really good at it so you can put on a good show for the Lord. And that's what I wanted to do. You know, I'm a good Christian, but I wanted Jesus to be proud of my strokes. Whenever I was masturbating, like, I'm practicing for Jesus. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you're here? Wherever you are, my Lord. I wanted to get good enough at sex that God would get horny. That was my goal. Some people, when they have sex, they want to make their partner come. Not me. I wanted to make God come. This is usually where I lose all the black people. They're like, go ahead by yourself. I'm not going to hell with you. It's like, I get it. It's fine. I'll take the bullet for us. I mean, look, even if you believe in God as a regular person, you have to be able to admit that God is not crushing it. This is not A+ work. Have you looked outside lately? I mean, my country is overrun by gangs. The Middle East is on fire. Like 5 years ago, we all almost got taken out by a strong cough. Is there anyone in charge of this place? Is there a manager we could talk to about life? Something is off about it. I don't know, but the service is not great. But I get it. People need something, you know? That's, just... Religion gives you that little insurance policy of heaven. That's really, in case it's real. You just bet on it. When I was a kid, my neighbors were Jehovah's Witnesses. Those are the most annoying ones. I don't know if you're a Jehovah's Witness, but you guys really suck. They take so much joy out of life. They don't celebrate birthdays. Like, why would you take that away from children? And they go to church way too much. They go 3 times a week. They go Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And it's like, you're looking desperate out here, Stop bothering God. Just be cool about this. If you text the girl too much, she's not gonna be into you. Act like you're busy. God is the hot chick in this situation. Pretend you got stuff going on. 3 times a week. How much witnessing does Jehovah need? Here's the weirdest thing about Jehovah's Witnesses. They believe, and this is absolutely true, they believe there's a set number of people that will make it to heaven. I don't know how they got to that number, but it's a real number. 144,000 people. Now, here's what's funny about that. There's 8.5 million of those motherfuckers around the world. So it's like, what kind of Squid Game religion are you guys running here? How many people do I have to murder before I can meet Jehovah? Clearly, heaven might sell out. I gotta make sure I can redeem my ticket before it's too late. Michael Jackson and Prince were both Jehovah's Witnesses, so that's already 2 spots gone. I don't know what the rest of you are fighting for. Yeah, I mean, religion it helps, I don't begrudge you for having one. Especially when there's a death around you. That's the only place you can go to, because that's the final frontier, I lost a cousin 8 years ago, and my family came up with all those religious sayings to feel better. The sayings are nice, but they don't really make sense. My cousin died very suddenly, and my family was like, well, if he died, it's because God called him. God needed him, so God called him. I was like, well, that's a pretty rude phone call, don't you think? Even a terrible job will give you a 2 weeks notice before they'll let you go. Just no warning. Be like, fuck, I gotta go right now? I was enjoying being alive. Thank you, sir. Here's the other one. That was the weirdest one. That was my grandma's favorite one. She would go, well, if he died, it was his time to go because God does not make mistakes. God does not make mistakes. I don't know if that's true. I've met people with 6 fingers before. That feels like a mistake. What is the 6th one for? Better grip than everybody? Why do you need 6 fingers? Clearly that was a mistake. That's a crazy thing to believe. If you believe God does not make mistakes, that means you think everything in life is perfect and no one should ever try to fix anything. That's not real. We're all adults here. There's so much stuff we gotta fix around this place. If God does not make mistakes, how do you explain that some people need to wear glasses to improve their vision? You should just walk into traffic with the eyes that God gave you and see what happens. Do not change his perfect creation of shady eyes. He gave you first draft eyes. Live with it for the rest of your life. If God does not make mistakes, how do you explain that some people are transgender? If you're transgender, you believe you were born in the wrong body. That's a huge fucking mistake. That's a straight up F. God fucked up the whole assignment. That's not whoops, that's fuck. I gave you a dick. That belonged to him. That was Philip's dick. I gotta stop drinking when I make people, man. I keep misplacing my dicks. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good toy, so enjoy it while you have it. I guess when you're old enough, you can get rid of it. In the meantime, Dave Chappelle will do 4 comedy specials about you and your people, so enjoy the attention. Religious people are, for the most part, very nice. But, you know, people see the world through their very narrow-minded viewpoint, so it can get weird. I remember when I was a kid, there was a bus crash in Haiti, and a bunch of people died, except for this one woman. She was the sole survivor, and it made the news. And they were like, how do you feel about this? You're the only person that survived. And she goes, well, clearly God saved my life. And I remember thinking, what a mean and arrogant thing to say, because clearly God also murdered a bunch of other people. What makes you think you're so special that God had to kill people to save you? Who the fuck are you, lady? Maybe what really happened is that you're such an awful person that you're not ready for heaven yet. That's why God took all these other people but left you here so you can pay rent and have diarrhea like the rest of us. That's what it means to be a person, you know? Diarrhea is a big part of the human experience. I wish it wasn't, but it is. So let's talk about it for 3 minutes, all right? Not a long time. 3 minutes is not long. Unless you have diarrhea, then it's actually quite an eternity. It's just 180 seconds of violent. No, you don't need that, so. First of all, why is it so hard to spell? There's a bunch of R's, there's an H somewhere, there's 17 A's in diarrhea. Something that's so easy to come out should not be that hard to spell. The spelling of diarrhea should just be, that should be it. That's all you need. Also, the word diarrhea is way too cute for the terrorist attack that diarrhea is on your body. I mean, the word is adorable, you know? It sounds like a little girl. You're like, look at this drawing diarrhea made. Oh my God, so much talent jumping to the page. This is very, very good. Wow. Well done, diarrhea. Get back in class. Your sister, chlamydia, is waiting, all right? You know, people give diarrhea jokes a lot of shit for being toilet humor, but it's a unifying thing. Almost everyone who's ever lived had diarrhea. That's kind of nice, you know? There's a lot of things that separate us, you know, money, power, race, whatever it is, but almost everyone. Hitler had diarrhea. Martin Luther King had diarrhea, which is the only thing those two guys have in common. Even Beyonce has diarrhea at least once a year. Doesn't that make you feel good to know you have something in common with Beyonce? Whenever I'm having a bad day, I just think of Beyonce having diarrhea. And she runs out of toilet paper. And Jay-Z has to give her a roll through the door, just like this. I'm like, fuck yeah, you know, that's the great equalizer. Doesn't matter how rich or famous you get, no one can escape diarrhea. And that's a nice thought. I promise you 3 minutes, that's it. That's all the diarrhea we had for today. So, it's very weird right now to be an immigrant in America, because there's a lot going on. I don't know where I fit in into all of it, you know? Especially as a black immigrant. A couple summers ago, I went to a protest by accident. Yeah, I did not mean to go at all. I was biking in Brooklyn, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, I'm in a protest now, fuck. It was terrifying, you know? I was surrounded by all these young, hopeful white people. And I was like, all right, this is probably a protest about my life, so. I think I have to stay. It's not a good look to leave the protest about your life. So I stayed, and it got weird. It got very strange. A lot of them were coming up to me. They were like, you matter. I was like, I never thought I did it, but thank you, I guess. You fucking weirdos got out of my face. White liberals can be so annoying in this country. You know, I don't need you to prop me up so you can feel better. Look, I'm not gonna go to a protest in America on purpose. I'm not. Told you guys, I'm from Haiti. I paid a lot of money for a green card to be here. I'm not dying for this country. You guys do that shit. That's your country. Why would I risk dying for America? I survived Haiti. Surviving Haiti and dying for America, that'd be like you survive cancer, then you die of a gluten allergy. That's how insane that would be. I'm not doing it. You die for your land. I paid money to be here. But you know, while I'm here, I like to do my part as a decent person in a new country. Like one of the things I like to do here, I like to support good black-owned businesses because that helps everybody keep the money moving around the community. And that used to be a very simple thing. You just find a good business owned by a black person. That was it. But now it's tricky. There's a lot of weird racial politics, you know? Like I have a friend of mine, he's a Haitian guy, and he owns a coffee shop in Bed-Stuy. And young people have decided that maybe his business is not really black-owned because he's married to a white woman. Just like, what does that have to do with the business? When did young progressives turn into old racist grandparents? When did we make that weird 180 as a society? But they're like, listen, black people, we love you, we support you, but you gotta stick to your own kind. That is the only way your business matters to us. I know we're 25, but we're gonna take it back to the Jim Crow era. That's how we like to live. Stupid. Is there a compromise we could find? How much of it is 3/5 of it black-owned, you fucking idiots? The other day I was about to go in there and this lady stopped me and she goes, is this a black-owned business? And I was like, yes, it's owned by my friend. Go and get some coffee. And she goes, well, what about the white lady I see there all the time? And I was like, don't worry about the white lady. If you must know, that white lady, that's his slave. He got her from Poland. Just real cheap slaves over there for $79.99 and free shipping. You two can get one. And I was like, listen, lady, you should not only support the coffee shop, you should also support that white lady because she is also black-owned. And that's how you keep all the money in your community, you know? You help out everybody. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out America. It's a place of contradictions. Like I go to Texas all the time to do comedy. There's no more place with more contradictions than Texas. Jesus Christ. By the way, it is an abortion joke. I just want you to get ready. We don't know if it'll make the special, but let's see how it goes. Texas has the most stringent abortion laws in the entire country. You cannot get one under any circumstances, which is a terrible law. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they followed it up with another law where anyone, and absolutely anyone, could get a gun. No training needed, no permit required. You could just get a gun under the guise of self-defense. So it looks like pretty soon, the only way you can have an abortion in Texas is to have the baby and then shoot that baby. Just shoot him right in his little face. Pew, pew, pew. You can call it a Texas late term, you know? Just shoot him, and it's cute. Pew, pew, pew. I mean, Americans love private property. You can say it was self-defense. You did not want that baby in there. Shoot that little pussy trespasser right in his face. All right, everybody. All right, we did it. We got through the baby murder joke. I mean, ladies, I'm on your side, really. I'm for your right to do whatever you want. Right now, I'm trying to start a movement. My slogan is, your gun, your baby, your choice. That's what I'm trying to start right now. I just wanted to something that'll make both sides happy, so. All right, maybe we'll keep it. We'll see. Yeah, I get in a lot of fights with Americans. Just because I've lived a real life. So I've seen real stuff. So sometimes the trivial stuff that you guys get bothered about annoys me, you know? Actually, I think I'm jealous. That's what it is. Because you get to have cute American problems. like pronouns. What an adorable American problem. Do you know how good your life must be if your highest struggle is grammar? Do you know how good that must feel? You think anyone in the Middle East is like, I know you're gonna kill me and my whole family, but it's actually they, them, theirs. I want you to kill the real me. She is already dead, but they are very much alive right now. So I want you to kill me properly. A lot of corporate people are now doing this thing where they put pronouns in email signatures. And I was emailing with this woman in the business, and she has her pronouns, and I don't have it in mine, and she tried to chastise me about it. She goes, why don't you have your pronouns in your email? And I was like, well, you know, I'm a dude. I look like a dude. And I feel like a dude, so it does not seem necessary for me. And she goes, don't you want to be an ally to non-binary people? And I'm like, sure, I'd love to be an ally, but I don't think that's what being an ally is. If I'm your ally, I support your right to do whatever works for you. But it does not mean I also have to do what works for you. You get what I'm saying? I'm an ally to handicapped people. Do I have to roll up here in a wheelchair and tell these jokes? And at the end of my set, I get up and go, all right, I stand with the handicapped community. Well, I sit with them, really, because it's kind of hard to stand with them. Metaphorically, I stand with them. What are we doing, you know? I'm an ally to gay men. Do I have to get fucked in the ass? That's the thought of it. Hurts my little Haitian asshole, you know? I don't need to know that. Imagine that's how you had to prove that you're an ally. It's like, it says here you're a friend of the gay community. We're gonna need you to go in this room. Spread them. Wide open. No lube. Real allies take you dry. We need to test your commitment to this friendship with the gay community. I'm trying to get you people, but sometimes I don't. Like, I don't get how you pick the people you put on pedestals, your heroes. Like, I don't get why this girl, Greta Thunberg, for the life of me, is a goddamn hero. I have no... how? If you don't know who that is, this girl, Greta Thunberg from Sweden, became an international hero because she's an activist for climate change. She learned about climate change and she decided to start a movement called School Strike for Climate. She decided to stop going to school to protest climate change. Can anybody here tell me what the fuck those two things have to do with each other? It's a complete scam and we all fell for it. School strike for climate? All right, I'm gonna stop masturbating to lower taxes. That is the exact same shit. It's completely meaningless. It's just a girl who did not want to do her homework and turn it into a hustle. That's all it is. You know, it's like when people say, I'm gonna run a 5K race for cancer. And you're like, how is that supposed to help cure cancer? Just say you like to run, you vapid cunt. Don't bring cancer into this and make it about something that it isn't. That's what Greta's doing to us. She says she's depressed because of climate change. I'm like, no, you're not. You're depressed because you're not going to school. You're a teenage girl, go to school, meet a boy, kiss a boy, get fingered in the hallway. Just live your life. It'll cure depression, I promise. And because she's so big now as an activist, she has to stay in character. She cannot do regular people's stuff anymore. She can no longer fly because apparently every time you fly, you increase your carbon footprint and you hurt the climate. So whenever she comes to America, she has to take a boat. Like a fucking conquistador on some 90-day journey to New York City. Thanks for coming, Greta Columbus. I hope you brought some spices and diseases with you. That's how low the bar is now to be a hero. You just don't go to school and the whole world has to pretend that you're an icon. I know, man, the bar is too low. You gotta do something real to be a hero for people. One of my heroes is a girl named Malala Yousafzai. Malala is a girl from Pakistan. Evidently a difficult and sexist country. She had a strong dream, but they wouldn't let her dream come true. So she decided to fight for it. She fought for her dream, and they fought back. And they fought back so hard that the Taliban shot her in the head. She was in a coma for 3 days, but she survived because she's a fucking gangster. And when she got back on her feet, she made her dream come true. Do you know what her dream was? Going to school! That was her entire dream. She just wanted to learn how to read and write. Maybe read a book about climate change. That's all the fuck she wanted to do. And it meant so much to her, she was willing to die for it. Meanwhile, this privileged twat in Sweden is yelling at adults at the United Nations, and we're supposed to think she's a hero. Shut the fuck up, Greta. Why don't you learn some algebra? I'm just saying, people should go to school, you know? School is very important to me as an immigrant. You need, that's the only way you can make something of yourself when you're from a poor country. You gotta have some sort of education, you know? I'm very grateful for my education. I went to a Catholic school as a boy. I'm not a big fan of Catholicism, but I'm very grateful for the education. It's a good education. A Catholic education is so good, you almost forget that they fuck kids. That's how good of an education it is, you know? It's like, yeah, they touched my friend, but they also taught me Latin. Isn't that nice? You get to learn the etymology of the word pedophilia while also experiencing what it's all about. That's hands-on education, if you ask me. Thank you for laughing at this joke. My friend got touched for it, so I think you would appreciate your contribution to his sacrifice. Well done, you guys. I went to an all-boys school, and we'd just sit around and just have dumb boy conversations, you know? Boys love a hypothetical. You know, just stuff that would never happen in a million years. And, you know, Catholics, boys, so pretty homophobic. So here's the conversation we used to have. I can still see it to this day. We'd sit around in a circle and go like, if a guy puts a gun to your head, right? And he says, I'm gonna fuck you. Or you suck my dick. Or I'll kill you. What would you choose? And we all unanimously said, I would die. We're like, I'll let the guy kill me. I don't want to be gay. Which is the dumbest thing you could do in that situation. It's the worst option you could pick. Because what if the guy kills you and then fucks you? Now you dead and gay. From your perspective, it's the worst 2-for-1 deal in the history of deals. Don't do that. That's stupid. I've thought about this now as an adult. I have. If I was in that situation, I would suck the guy's dick. I've never sucked a dick before, but I have one. I can figure it out. I'd suck his dick and I would do a really good job. I'd play with his balls, you know, he'd get lost in the moment. And then I'd grab the gun and shoot that motherfucker. That's what I'd do. You don't want to die because you're afraid of a dick. Save your life and suck that dick. That's what I'd say to those Catholic boys. I mean, I say this girl's all fun and game. I actually don't know if I have it in me to suck a dick. Seems like a lot of work, ladies. Well, those of you that do it, which evidently is a minority. I mean, I used to date this girl that she was awesome in every way, except that she didn't like to suck dick, which is not a big deal. Actually, it is. It is a little bit. A little bit. I don't need that every day. I'm not a monster, but I'll take once a week, you know? Just a weekly Tuesday dick appointment. That would be nice. And here's the thing. She's an adult woman. I'm an adult man. She gets to make her own decision. I just didn't like her reasoning for not doing it. Her reasons were not good. She said, I don't like to do it because I don't like the way dick tastes. Not my dick. Just dick. She's not a fan of the general flavor profile of penises. It's like, what are you talking about? What kind of world do you live in? No one does it for the taste. What do you think is happening out there? There are no delicious dicks out there. You think people are sucking dicks going, caramel, I love those. Getting some notes of cocoa in that one. Caramel and cocoa. It's my favorite combination. Is that nutmeg? Oh my God. Just a hint, subtle hint of nutmeg. It's like, no, you do it to make your partner happy. You just gotta do your job. It's not supposed to be gastronomically pleasant. Just do your job. Get down there like an immigrant. Do what you have to do. I do my job. Pussy doesn't taste great. It doesn't even taste good, to be honest with you, ladies. Pussy tastes like raw chicken dipped in battery acid, but I eat it every chance I get because I'm a good lover. That's what you're supposed to do. And listen, ladies, if you're sucking somebody's dick and it tastes good, that motherfucker's probably sick. Go get him checked out. He's got diabetes or something, all right? Get off your knees and get the insulin. There's a problem. Thank you very much, Little Phil, for coming out. Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Why them chanter ça? Why them chanter ça? Fondé them chanter ça. Muncho ulo, muncho ulo, muncho ulo.
I'm not from here. I'm from Haiti. I had to make some cultural adjustments being here.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was confused by an American girl. I was a freshman in college, and I went to this party, and I started making out with this girl. Because that's really what you do in college. You just make out with random people. And we're making out, and it's fun. And I said, do you want to go back to my room? She said yes. So we go back to my room. We make out some more. I get naked. She gets naked. So in my mind, it's on. I'm getting ready to enjoy the most awesome experience two people can have with their genitals. And suddenly she looks at me and she goes, we're not gonna have sex, are we? What do you mean? She says, I didn't plan on having sex. I'm like, yeah, I did. I didn't get naked to talk about politics. That's the whole point. She said, well, I don't know you well enough. I can have sex with you. You can say that when you're naked in my bedroom, willingly. I know things about you now. You're naked in my bedroom. I've seen parts of you that most people have not seen. People think you have big tits. I know that you do not. So we talk about it, and at the end we did not have sex. Because I'm a gentleman. I'm not gonna force sex on anybody. I like how I said I'm a gentleman for that. Because not forcing sex on anyone doesn't make you a gentleman. It just makes you not a rapist. That's all it does. I've been here for about 4 years now, and that's 4 years of watching American television. And I've come to a conclusion. If I was given a chance to punch two people in the face, it would be a very easy decision for me. I would punch Rush Limbaugh and pretty much everyone who works for Fox News. I don't know if you guys know who Rush Limbaugh is, but it makes sense that I wouldn't like him. We don't have a lot in common. I'm Haitian, he's an asshole. And Fox News to me is just overwhelming. Every time I watch Fox News, I get so overwhelmed by the amount of fairness and intelligence that comes out of that network. It's crazy. Here's my relationship with Fox News. I like Fox News like a gay man likes vagina. I don't like Fox News is what I'm trying to say. And there's a lot of civic pride when you watch Fox News. It's like the self-appointed guardian of American civic pride. I don't get that. Because civic pride to me is a weird thing. You being proud of something you did not do. If you were born an American, you didn't do it. Your parents just made you here. It's not like you climbed out of the womb as an unborn baby. You're like, hey, Mom, could you please make me in America? Because I don't like Mexicans and Canadians are pussies. That's what I want. And when you have too much civic pride, you say things that aren't true. Jay-Z's from New York and he's really proud of that. And he has a song, Empire State of Mind. You guys heard it, right? He says in that song, since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. And as a young man from Haiti, I'm thinking, no, that is not true at all. Not in the least. Are you kidding me? People come here because they hope they have better chances of making it. You telling me this is the hardest place to make it? Jay-Z, have you ever tried to become a world-class rapper in Ethiopia? If you can eat in Ethiopia, you've made it. Thank you guys. My name is TJ.